Good afternoon. I am Ryan Clifton Bolin. Listen, folks, I want to read to you guys something that I just read out of the Epoch Times that just blew my mind. Then again, maybe it didn't blow my mind. Really, actually, I'm not surprised. But on the other hand, I am disturbed by this. And hopefully, prayerfully, after I've completed reading a portion of this article, you guys will see. Now, I'm going to read a significant portion of this article because I want you guys to really get the crutch of what this is all about how these progressive prosecutors and progressive politicians and so forth ain't what they appear to be. When you hear the term progressivism, watch out for that, because that's actually just another variation or soft form of communism. But I'm going to get into that after I complete the reading of this article. And this is from the Epoch Times. Apparently this happened in Southern California, which I'm not surprised. And it's entitled Progressive District Attorneys Radically Change Rule of Law in California Cities. And it states underneath that more than 50 prosecutors, support, and victim services staff have quit amid smash and grab crime wave. Los Angeles, this happens in Los Angeles apparently. Amidst a wave of smash and grab robberies and other crimes, a former prosecutor is claiming that more than 50 prosecutors, support, and victim service staffs have quit their jobs over San Francisco District Attorney Ches Bowden's progressive, there go that term, progressive, criminal justice reform policies. Watch that. The office is exploding, said the source, who produced a list of those who've left their jobs since Bowden was sworn into office on January 10th last year. Not all of them quit, but most of them quit. Some were fired, said the source, who requested anonymity out of fear of reprisal. The list isn't up to date. I think more have left. Bowden fired 7 prosecutors his second day on the job. Wow, can you imagine that? 7. Another former investigative supervisor sued Bowden for wrongful termination last month, claiming retaliation for calling out, quote, improper and unlawful actions by 2 prosecutors. The source also cited a September 24th Superior Court hearing at which Superior Court Judge Bruce Chan raised concerns about actions taken in the district's attorney office. For what it's worth, let me say a few things, maybe with the forlorn hope that someone in the DA's office might pay attention, Chan said. Court transcripts quote Chan saying he, quote, wholeheartedly supports Bowden's efforts to reform the criminal justice system, but said, I cannot express in any more certain terms my disapproval of the manner in which the office of the district attorney is being managed. We simply cannot have the current levels of disorganization and expect there to be any public confidence in what we do here collectively. Chan criticized the constant turnover in the office and said, I hope that people in the district attorney's office will shift their focus from some of the bigger issues and concern themselves with the unglamorous yet necessary work of public prosecution. And that's true. You know, it's unglamorous, but it's necessary. We need prosecutors. True, some prosecutors overstep their boundaries, but a lot of times it's not the case. In order for you to get rid of these criminals, you got to prosecute them. The former prosecutor agreed with Judge Chan's comments in the hearing and accused Bowden of trying to downplay increased crime statistics. Now, here's where it gets heated, because that's exactly what I believe is going on. They're trying to downplay crime statistics. Now, listen to this. That's the thing that's really frustrating, is that they know it's worse. They know it, and they're lying, the source claimed. Though progressive prosecutors again, contend the reason why there's so many criminals, get this now, is because our justice system turns them into criminals is a backwards argument, the source said. Let me say something about that. The justice system turns them into criminals. So if the justice system is turning them into criminals, then how did they get put in the justice system? They were innocent and the police arrested them on bogus charges. And when they got into the criminal system, all of a sudden they turned them into criminals. These people are so backwards and stupid, it's unbelievable. But they got a plan. They got an agenda. I believe they do. They argue that people keep getting arrested. Get this now. They argue that people keep getting arrested because cops keep arresting them, and that's the problem. These progressive prosecutors say that the reason why these people keep getting arrested, should be on Saturday Night Live, the older one, is because they keep getting arrested. Maybe if they would stop breaking the law, they wouldn't keep getting arrested. What do you think these cops are doing? Driving around looking for somebody to arrest? And these cops, as much pressure as they're under right now, are not going to arbitrarily go around looking for people to arrest. That's their job, especially in today's progressive, liberal, lopsided society. Are you scared? Woo, Jesus, help me, God. Don't let me get angry. You wouldn't want to be around me when I'm angry. But let me continue on. Some believe if police would just leave people alone, they wouldn't commit crimes, the source said. Woo! Crimes, especially property offenses, are vastly underreported because the public has lost faith in the justice system, the source says. Bingo. They think no one cares. They think that nothing is going to happen, the source says. When police sometimes tell victims of property crimes there is no point in reporting these incidents because district attorneys likely won't do anything, unfortunately, they're right, the source said. People blame the cops for not wanting to take reports. That's a symptom. The actual problem is that there is no prosecution. If you start charging cases, the cops will step up and do their jobs. Now, let me read you these crime rates here. The San Francisco district attorney states in recent press release that charges were filed against 9 suspects in connection with organized crimes at Louis Vuitton in Union Square. These brazen acts would not be tolerated in San Francisco, he said in the release. However, critics say the rising crime rates put Bowden at risk of being ousted in a June recall election. Police reported that vehicle break-ins have been up between 100% and 750% in parts of the city compared to last year, with the number of reported vehicle thefts reaching 1,891 in May 2021, more than double the 923 reports reported in May 2020. That's all I'm going to read right there. So you've heard that, folks. Here, let me say something first and foremost about this whole term about progressivism. And let me say something about this right up front. Progressivism, I've discovered in my studies, is a soft form of communism. It's a softer form of communism. It's given the title progressivism because it's more acceptable to the people. When you say progressive, that sounds positive. What's wrong with being progressive? What's wrong with moving forward in life? With moving forward and bettering your life or bettering the circumstances or bettering our society. And let me be honest. I'm going to be real with you. You know, there's some things that do need to be reformed and some things that need to be fixed up and developed. There's no doubt about that. I'm not, being completely resentful towards that at all. And I don't want to overstate myself here. But at the same time, I believe I know what's going on. Communists and liberals hate law enforcement. And liberalism, by the way, is another variation of communism too, by the way. But that's a whole other story, and I digress. Progressivism in the early 20s and 30s, when it first was initiated here in America, you had some Republicans that were progressive. But progressivism back then, particularly during the Industrial Revolution, was needed back then because there were certain things that needed to be reformed, such as the child labor laws and so forth, where they was having kids working in these factories for little or nothing. It was somewhat abusive and oppressive, and there were certain things that needed to be reformed, and that was different then. Back then, progressivism had a more positive spin, but as time went on, it began to morph into something more negative and began to have ties to communist ideology instead. So a lot of politicians, particularly Democrats in particular, use the term progressivism to describe themselves as someone who's progressing and moving forward towards something more positive. But is it something more positive? When you look at the way these statistics, these crime statistics are going up in cities in California and in other cities all over America, progressives collectively are saying, well, you know what? It's not about the criminals. It's about this. It's about that. It's about these police. The statement that they just made that about the police need to stop arresting these people. Are you serious? And I believe, honestly, that these progressives say stuff like this because they know they can get to the minds of the public. The gullible, blind, lame-brained public, and I hate to say that, the gullible, blind, lame-brained public that don't think. Maybe I shouldn't say lame-brained, but I ain't going to edit it. I just want to say, maybe I shouldn't say lame. I'm sorry, I shouldn't say lame-brained, but the blind public, a vast majority of them are blind. A vast majority of them have been manipulated psychologically by these progressive Democrats and by these progressive district attorneys and all the rest, and pumping their head full of this idea that we need to reform everything and we need to particularly reform the police force. Is it really all about that? I don't believe so. I believe what they're trying to do, based on my studies, is they're trying to get rid of the police that we have now and basically reshape and reform them and fill them with policies that support a communist ideology. They want police that's going to be tyrannical, or rather that will protect their interests and will protect the socialist communist interests. That's what they want. Why do I say that? Because in every communist country, when communism took over, that's one of the things they took over was the police force. And they reshaped and reformed the police force in order to support their communist agenda. So anyone who would dissent or disagree with the communist agenda, you had the police force filled with people that supported that agenda. So if you disagree with me, you get hauled away and the police had no guilt. That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to take, as far as I'm concerned, they're trying to take power and authority from the police so that the police can't do anything in order to create moral chaos in our communities so that the people, the vast masses of people will cry out to who? The almighty government. And then the government steps in and says, we're going to get rid of all these police and replace them with another set of police. That's what I believe it's all about. Don't fall for it, people. Don't fall for it. Crime is crime. People commit crimes, as far as I'm concerned, because they have the option of doing so. The reason why crimes are going up and theft is going up, all this smash and grab and stuff is going up because these people know that they will not do any time for what they're doing. They won't do any time. That's why I said it isn't because of poverty. It isn't because of poverty. Get out of here, man. Poverty, all you need is get on welfare. The government is willing and more willing than anything to put you on food stamps and subsidize housing. That's what they really want. That's what the Biden administration wants. They want you to be dependent on them. So you can't say well, I'm struggling right now. I'm struggling. Come on, man. Let's cut it out. Let's stop making excuses for crime and call it what it is. Call it what it is. You don't have to do what you do. And now you have here in California, you have all these people quitting because this is just not right. And some getting fired. Really? I bet you the only ones getting fired are the ones that standing for morals and values. That's what it is. You got to get rid of them. If you want to reshape everything, you got to get rid of the people that's walking the thin blue line. You got to get rid of them. They're going to mess up your progressive communist agenda. But folks, this is what's happening. Even in the city of Cleveland, we just recently had a new mayor elected. Young guy, African-American guy. And I'm not hung up in whether or not you black, white, Hispanic, whatever. I don't care about your race. What I care about is your policies and your worldview. That's what I care about because that's what's going to determine the course of the city. Duh. So, but believe it or not, but he's a progressive. And when I found out he was a progressive, and then I found out certain things that were happening in the city the minute he got in terms of law enforcement, now all of a sudden they want to reform law enforcement here in the city of Cleveland. Oh, really? Now, I'm not saying that there is, listen to me carefully before I close this video. I'm not saying that there aren't any corrupt police officers. I'm not saying that. Clearly there are. But there's corruption in every institution, in every corporation, in every organization. What are you going to do? Reform them all over? And I'll be darned if I'm going to let the government do that. What, the government don't have any corruption? The government ain't nothing but filled with a bunch of communists, socialists, occultists, and everything else telling you how to, dictating you how to live your life. The purpose of the government is to make sure that your freedoms are protected. That's their purpose. That's the purpose of the American government, not to run and control your life. Come on, man. We gotta wake up to this. But I just wanted to say that about that. What do you guys think about this? Do you think this police reform is okay? Do you think they should be doing it? As I said earlier, I mean, clearly we need to deal with those that are corrupt, abusing their power, but let the department do that. Let the police department do that. Okay? Don't try to have the government come in and reform everything. That's a trick, a communist trick, as far as I'm concerned. Okay? You're going to wake up one moment and everything going to be total chaos because criminals going to come out of the blue and really start acting crazy if we don't wake up. But what do you guys think? What do you guys think about this so-called situation in California with all these prosecutors and stuff leaving and so forth? Do you think that's right? Do you think there should be an overall haul of police reform or what? I personally believe that there should be police reform, but it should only be conducive to that particular department. That department should deal with that, okay? There's more good police officers than there are bad police officers. There's more good preachers than there are bad preachers. There's more good entrepreneurs than there are bad entrepreneurs. Come on, man. Let's quit playing games. That's what I believe on that. You guys leave your comments in the comment section below. If you like this video, press the like button, share this video, and subscribe. God bless you all, and see you again.